Hello and welcome to Short of Sis classes. In this video, I am going to solve some other MCQs relating to statistics. So the first question, starting from the question number 15, the first question is for if the null hypothesis of beta 2 is equal to 0 and the alternative is beta 2 greater than 0, then which of the test which will be appropriate? So in this case, if our alternative hypothesis is that beta 2 can only take the positive values. Therefore, it will be sufficient to take only the positive part of the normal curve. Therefore, one-tailed test will be the appropriate test. The next question is, when we do not reject H0 for beta 2, this means that the value of beta 2 under H0 falls within the confidence interval is defined by what? Generally, in the case of interval estimation, we write the probability that the beta 2 will lie between the lower interval and the upper interval is equals to 1 minus alpha. Now this alpha is the amount of allowable error. Now, if alpha equal to 0.05, then 1 minus alpha equals to 1 minus 0.05, which is 0.95. But when we write, we say 95% confidence interval. Therefore, what we have to do, we have to multiply 100 with 1 minus alpha and then put a percentage sign. So, this is the correct answer. The correct answer is option C. Now, in constructing a confidence interval of 101 minus alpha percent given alpha equal to 0.05, what is the probability of committing type 1 error? Basically, alpha 0.05 actually signifies the amount of type 1 error, because type 1 error is the case of rejecting a true null hypothesis. Therefore, the type 1 error is 5% and the option A is the correct answer. Now, under one-tailed test, the confidence interval is constructed by what? So, what do we mean by one-tailed test? In the case of one-tailed test, suppose the null hypothesis is something like this: beta equal to 0 with the alternative that beta greater than 0, or with the alternative that beta less than 0. In both of these cases, we say it is a one-tailed test, left-tailed or right-tailed test. If it is greater than 0, then right-tailed test, and if it is less than 0, then left-tailed test. Now, because of this, the graph will be something like this, either on this side or on this side. So, the alpha, the critical region, lies only one side of the normal curve. But still, the confidence interval remains 1 minus alpha. Then, the right option is 100 minus 1 minus alpha percentage. No matter which of the tests that you are doing, whether it is a two-tailed or one-tailed test, the confidence interval remains 1 minus alpha times 100 into percentage. So, this is the correct answer. The next question is, under the t-test, a statistics is said to be statistically significant if the value of the t-statistics falls in the critical region. So, what do we mean by statistically significant? By statistically significant, we mean that we are sure that Our experiment is not wrong. Suppose for 95% confidence interval, we are 95% sure that our experiment is not caused by something random. Now, the value of the t statistics falls in the critical region means our H0 is rejected. Thus, the statement is true. So, option A is the correct answer. Under the t-test, our statistics is said to be statistically insignificant if the value of the t statistics lies in the critical region. This question is just the opposite of the previous statement. So, as we have already explained that the previous statement was true, so this statement is definitely false. Given the t statistics under the t-test approaches to the critical region, the null hypothesis is not rejected depending upon the alpha, rejection depends upon the value of t. If in the t-test, the value of t statistics basically it is some normal variate divided by, so basically the t statistics is the normal distribution divided by the root of chi square by the degrees of freedom. Now if the t statistics falls in the critical region, then the null hypothesis is rejected. Therefore, the option B is the correct answer. The 23rd question is that we do not reject the null hypothesis when the t statistics under the test of significance lies in the critical region, rejection region, acceptance region and the null hypothesis region. Obviously, we do not, as t statistics is a two-tailed test just like normal, so we do not, it is a two-tailed test. Therefore, if these two are the critical regions, then these are the confidence interval or the acceptance region. And we do not reject the null hypothesis when the t statistics falls under the acceptance region. So 23rd answer C is the correct answer. The decision to use two-tailed test of significance or the one-tailed test of significance depends upon the research objectivity, null hypothesis framed, alternative hypothesis framed and sample data. Obviously, we know that if H0 equals to beta equal to 0 and the alternative hypothesis is beta is not equal to 0, then the alternative value of beta can take both positive or negative value. Therefore, the critical region should be on the both sides. But if the alternative hypothesis is such that beta can take only positive value, then it is sufficient to take and check only the right tail. Again, if the alternative is such that beta only take negative value, then it is sufficient to take the left tail. Therefore, it specifically depends how the alternative hypothesis is framed. So, option C is the correct answer. I have already mentioned in some of my previous videos when we use what test or what distribution. Now, this question specifically deals with one of that aspect. Chi-square test of significance is used to test the significance of the test statistics beta, sigma square, chi-square and t. These two are specifically name of the distribution. So we can eliminate these two options. Now it remains between beta and sigma square. Chi-square test is specifically for squared variables, because if z follows normal distribution with mean 0 and variance sigma square, then z minus 0 by 1, which is z by himself, follows chi-square distribution if it is squared with degrees of freedom. Therefore, only sigma square matches the criteria of square variable. Therefore, option B is the correct answer. In this video, I have solved many questions regarding statistics, test of hypothesis and estimation. I hope this is helpful for you guys. In the next video, I will be solving more questions regarding to this chapter. Till then, thank you.